gamers all around the universe. Today we have the freshest, the newest, the fanciest, the best Cataphract Byzantine guide. This build, without a doubt, is the easiest build order and guide I have ever done. Easy to macro, easy to do or to execute, and easy to micro. Obviously, I'm gonna give a shout to Jiglyturd, that is his name. He popularized the build, and I've decided to make a guide out of it. Now, there is a difference. This is a Beastyqt build. It's inspired by Jiggly, but with his build, you lose the game. With this build, you're gonna win the games. This build is basically rushing castle, making Cataphracts, and harassing with Keshiks meanwhile. Now, I just did a full stream of 5 hours in order to get some Byzantine games for you guys. And as you can see, they ended up going pretty well. But a lot of those games were very short. 17 minutes, 15, 5, 12, 13. So I'm going to show you a couple of games in different situations and how to deal with this, okay? Because the build order is fairly simple. So let's get into it. Now, this build you can play on pretty much any map. I feel like I don't think it's a map specific. Obviously, if you can defend, your base a bit easier, it's better for you, but overall not a huge deal regarding what map it is. So I built a house on the wrong side here. I was talking to chat, I didn't see my bears are here, but that's fine. We're gonna go 7 on food. We're gonna build a cistern in the range of gold and sheep. That's your first cistern prio. And then second cistern will be used to buff up the berries. So make sure you have gold and your sheep with the first one. If you get the wood line like this as well, perfect. If not, it is what it is. 7-3, and then you rally to food until the age up. The scout is obviously scouting. And this is a matchup where both players will rush castle. And I would say, I'm going to show you some like rough matchups. I think hardest matchups for this, in my opinion, from playing against it were, or the easiest time I had against this Byzantine build was with Japanese, OOTD, and probably Mongol. So I'm going to show you actually those matchups because we got them here today. And I'm going to explain to you how to deal with like castle rushes as well, on getting all in or Dark Age rushed. So this matchup, like I said, is usually castle rush versus castle rush. And it's just spamming Mounted Samurai or Onna-Mushas. And I actually have 2 games against Japanese. This guy spams Mounted Samurai. The other guy will spam Onna-Mushas. I think the other guy was Kilardi, right? So, as we age up with 4, we're going to put the landmark to be in the range of 3 berries preferable. And to have enough space for either 1 or 2 farms. Try not to leave space between, like 1 farm and then 1 row of space and then the landmark, because then you can't build farms in between. Then we're going to leave 4 on wood, 4 on food, sorry, 3 on gold, and we're going to rally onto the wood until we have 5. We're immediately going to build a lumber camp and rally until we have 5. The reason we want that is for mercenary house, for potential tower, slowly transitioning to farms, getting upgrades, and so on and so forth. So just put 5 on wood and don't worry about it. The moment you age up, now there's different prioritization. This is depending what civ you play against. So if you're playing against aggressive civ, I would use the first 120 wood I have here. I would make a tower, and then I would make a house. But because I'm playing against Japanese, I think I start wheelbarrow here first. Yeah, there's the wheelbarrow, so I'm using my wood there. I built the house as well. And then I'm going to build a cistern and then connect, make the mercenary house next. Try to use 1 cistern for Dialecticus for the upgrade speed and place it near the Grand Winery. And then you want to place blacksmith either here or here so that your blacksmith is researching faster. And then your production buildings, just try to put them around the other one so that you can be on conscriptio the whole time. Now, I'm getting specialized pick. Now, this is a bit different compared to the other guides that I do with pretty much any civ. The reason for that is you're going to have very low amount of workers on wood for a very long time. Like in castle, you will only have like 8 on wood, whereas on gold, you're going to have 15, 16, or even 20 on gold at some point. and you're gonna have 20 plus on food as well. So the upgrades that I like to get are wheelbarrow, specialized pick, then I get horticulture, and then double broadaxe I get after I start aging up to castle. Mercenary contracts. There's 3, obviously. Javelin throwers, because you're messing cataphracts, they make no sense at all. Longbows can have some use, and I'm going to show you in one of the games when you can go longbows. And then Keshiks will be pretty much be your go-to, because you can harass the enemy, so you can kind of buy yourself a little bit of time with that. If they're going for 2TC or cast rushing themselves, you can kind of harass them a little bit and delay their stuff. So Keshiks are most of the time the best, but you can also go longbows. Keshiks also cost 400 oil, and longbows recently got nerfed and it costs 520, so it's quite a bit more. So if I was playing against aggressive, I would potentially make a tower here too, just to defend the berries. But like I said, because he is rushing castle and I scouted it, I am skipping towers and I'm just going for the age up. Now regarding to what to use your wood on, you can make blacksmith and get +1 ranged armor, so you can dive under towers because you have units and he does not. Or you can slowly start making farms here and start your farm transition as well. So Keshiks are out. I make a stable. I should have made blacksmith first, because I was making a stable because you're going to need it eventually for cataphracts anyway. But I should have made blacksmith first. And here you can see he has double tower. So because I have mercenary house, and if you look at the age up timing, it's almost identical, but I also have units on the field too. So he has to build 2 towers and I don't, which is pretty good because it's saving me some resources. Berries are out. And I'm just going to take these 10 to 12 villagers. You're just going to run around the berries on the map so you can have Keshik production consistently. And now you can do some diving here. You can force some idle time. And the moment you get +1 ranged armor, which like I said is a bit, or I got it already, was a bit delayed initially, but we got it in the end. So you can do some diving, again, force some idle time. And yes, I will lose these Keshiks, but I think, yeah, I killed 1 villager and killed the 2nd villager, and he has, what is this, 19 villagers idle, +2 are running around. So even though you lose your units and it might seem really bad, it's allowing me to catch up with my age up, and I forced a lot of idle, right? So even if he ages up now, he actually has no food for mounted samurai. Now, where do you put your cistern of the first hill, which is where you're gonna... which is where we're gonna go for. I can't right now, anytime. I'll check later. So when do you go for the cistern, or where do you make it? So if you're playing against a super aggro civ, you can't make it like out on the map because obviously it's gonna get denied. But in this case, because I have map control, I'm just gonna make it here to boost my berries a little bit and just to get the influence out further. Realistically, what I could have done is made this cistern here to boost the next golden berries, but that would be maybe too greedy, too far out there, so I just went for it here. Don't overthink it as long as you're getting some kind of buff and some kind of value out of it. So I'm aging up, and as you're aging up, you're gonna go from about 7-8 on gold. You're gonna rally onto the gold, and it might seem like this is too many, but you're going to be using your gold very quickly. First, you're going to get a veteran contract. Keshiks cost 150 gold each. You need to get your upgrades, right? Like teardrop shields and +2 wedge rivets if he's going for range units. And then you're also going to be making monks, which is a lot of gold. So even though you might think this is a lot of villagers of gold, it's not. So here we go. That's my worker split as I age up, and now the gold rally is still going on. Now, at this point, I like to put 2, 3, 4 more on wood from the sheep guys. The reason for that is I want to build monasteries. So I have seen some players put their relics in Grand Winery, but I personally think it's a lot better to put it into monastery to get gold, because here you get oil. And oil is really good late game because you can make elephants. But I think if I had to choose, do I want resources to make more cataphracts or resources to get Keshiks? I'm probably going to choose the cataphract option. So, what is my goal from here on out? In Castle Rush versus Castle Rush civs, you can see I'm getting the upgrades, right? In Castle Rush versus Castle Rush Civs, what you need to do and try is get the relics. So it's going to be a fight about relics, it's going to be a fight about denying the relics. So what you can do is put like Keshik on each relic near his base while you're defending with Cataphracts. You can see there's like a lot of chasing around happening because we both want to get relics. The thing is, Cataphracts, so this is an interesting thing. Cataphracts beat normal knights pretty badly. Now, Mounted Samurai versus Cataphracts. Mounted Samurai lose to Cataphracts, okay? So they have same movement speed. Obviously, Mounted Samurai have the shield, but Cataphracts don't actually have the charge. So having the shield is not that big of a deal as it is against other cavalry. They have 230 health, Cataphracts have 360. They have 24 damage, Cataphracts have 27 damage. And last but not least, a lot of people don't know this, but Mounted Samurai have attack speed of 1.5, and Cataphracts have actually faster attack speed at 138. So not only they will out DPS the Mounted Samurai, they actually have more health too. Obviously they're more expensive, but you have the Gulp ability in the Cistern, the first heal, that's gonna heal your Cataphracts quite a bit. And this is super, super strong. The longer the game goes, this landmark becomes a lot weaker, but it is super strong as you get it. Now, one thing to note is, I forgot to mention, when you age up with this landmark, make sure to press R to actually turn on the auto flask thing if you don't want to individually click on a unit and use the flask. So it will auto use when the unit gets, I think it's under 20 or 25% HP. I can't remember, but it's one of those. Yeah, it activates, I think, under 20% HP, it just auto activates. So, as we're running around, we're fighting, I can already start harassing because my units are going to be very tanky. So, if he does this, I can simply just kill this Mounted Samurai. But look at this. I'm idling his gold, and this unit is now gulping, it's healing. So all his gold is idle. So if I manage to kill something or get these guys away, I'm actually getting value. He's got 15 villagers idle right now, he's not gathering food. And this whole time, I'm just pumping out units. So if you look, he has more Mounted Samurai, but he's not producing any right now because of that idle time that I just did on him. And the Cataphract numbers are just rising up more and more and more. My gold is depleted, so I'm going to go to the next one. The relics, I have 2. He has 2 as well. He just doesn't have a monastery yet. He's making it now, or Shinto shrine. Got some barriers in here. Gold gets denied a little bit, and this is one of the best case scenario if you play this Byzantine build. So what's happening now is he's deciding to harass me, which is obviously something you should do in AoE4, but versus the Cataphract build, if he goes under my TC and I have reinforcements, my reinforcements will be able to deal with what he is doing. But my units under his TC will actually be extremely tanky because of the healing ability. So if you look here, he already cannot fight this, right? He has to kind of run. I'll have more units coming out. But if you look under his base, I have 2 Keshiks and 6 Cataphracts. And nothing is dying. Like, he's losing everything. He has idle time on everything. I have 15 villagers idle. He has all villagers idle. And that's kind of the power of this build and power of Cataphracts. If you play these castle rushes to castle rush situations, I think it's a lot better for Byzantine if the enemy opts to go for cavalry. So right here you can see he's trying to make a second town center. The Cataphracts come back and he's just kind of getting destroyed. The units are healing. Keshiks are obviously healing every attack. And here he just taps out. So again, I've played Byzantine all day, but most of my games ended very quickly like this. So, yeah. I'm going to show you the next one, which is also going to be against Japanese, just to get the Japanese matchup out of the way. If you play against Japanese Mounted Samurai, that's how you play. Now, if the opponent goes for Onna-Mushas, which is, in my opinion, is one of the best ways to deal against this Byzantine build. I have had, I think, 4 games as Japanese versus Byzantines doing this build, and I absolutely butchered them. But there is a way to deal with it, and I'm going to show you. Onna-Mushas can not only kite Cataphracts and Keshiks, they do crazy amounts of damage to them. But there's a little thing you can do. So I'm not going to talk about the build again. Now we're just going to watch games and I'm going to point out the important things. Now, as we watch this, someone asked earlier when to go Hippodrome and when to go Grand Winery. Or why not go Hippodrome, rather. So, you need Keshiks as... Like, you need Keshiks as just, like, free units that you're basically getting from oil and farms. If you go for Hippodrome, you won't be able to put any pressure in Feudal Age. If you do want to, you would have to make Horsemen, which will delay your castle build by quite a bit. And Grand Winery would just give you more value over time, because getting oil will be super important into Castle and Imperial as well. And while Hippodrome is cool and you get like big damage buff and you get a little bit of regen if you activate it for your cavalry, you don't really need it. It's like overdoing it. Like what you need is more like stability in Feudal, more units in Feudal, without you actually investing resources into them. So you can try it, Hippodrome, but I personally don't think there's a reason for it. So same thing is happening. Japanese builds a tower. He also has fishing, so he even has better economy than the last guy. And we're gonna be doing a little push here in a second. Again, I'm kind of charging in a little bit, forcing some idle time. He's aging up right now. I'm gonna age up in a second. There it is. And again, I'm making Cistern on my next berries. So I'm just gonna connect that super easily, and my villagers don't have to go super far. So that's kind of what you want to do with that. You don't want to go all over the map. You don't want to go like all the way there to build it because it's too far. So again, forcing some idle time, and now I see Onna-Musha's, which is the correct response to what I'm doing. So this is the response that I have for that. I'm trying. Look how fast Keshiks die, by the way. Isn't that crazy? So, what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to go Cataphracts. I'm instead going to go Horsemen. Why Horsemen? Well, Onna-Musha's counter Knights, counter Keshiks, they counter Cataphracts hardcore, but they're not that good against Horsemen because they have bonus damage versus heavy. So you basically almost half their damage if you go Horsemen. And Horsemen deal bonus damage against them because they do bonus damage against, what is the specific thing? Just ranged units, right? So Horseman is going to hit this for 18 damage, and this Horseman is not even upgraded yet. So, same thing. I'm trying to secure Relics. We both Castle Rush, so I'm trying to secure Relics. But these are Feudal Horsemen. Look how much damage they're doing. And he has to run. Look at that. Oh. Boom. Dead. So, already, even though these Feudal Horsemen, they're doing better than Cataphracts or Castle Keshiks would. So what I'm going to do, the idea behind this, is I'm just going to keep making Horsemen. As long as he's making Onna-Mushas, I'm going to make Horsemen. And at some point, when he either stops making Onna-Mushas and transitions to something else, or mixes in some other units, I'm going to go back to Cataphracts, okay? So here I see Mounted Samurai, which is a very popular transition from this. So I see Mounted Samurai, so I say, okay, you're going to go Mounted Samurai? I'm going to start making Keshiks in a moment again. And I'm going to start making Cataphracts again. And obviously I'm making Keshiks from my Mercenaries. And here I did a little bit of a flank to just kind of crunch this army. He gets caught. And what I do here is I just put like 1-2 horsemen per Onna-Musha. So even if he kites, he gets absolutely destroyed. And then we do a little surround. His army gets completely destroyed. And now, with the gulp, even Mounted Samurai won't be able to fight this because I just have so many units. Relics is 3 versus 1 right here in the monastery, and now at the high level the game is over at this point. Obviously if you're not like a top level player, the game will go on and anything can happen, but this is pretty much over because he just lost everything. So now I am open to harass whatever I want. He tries to make a town center here. And you can see right now, Cataphracts are back on the menu because I've just reset Onna-Musha count. And because I know I have mass horsemen, so why would he make Onna-Mushas now, right? So that's why I go back to Cataphracts. I got the upgrade for the horsemen. Every time you kill a villager, you get 20 gold. And now, even though these are just Horsemen and some Keshiks, again, I do the dive on their TC. And he just loses pretty much all the villagers that he has. And that's pretty much it. So again, very fast game. But this build is also supposed to be very fast ending. So if you want to end games fast and you don't want to play long games, this build is great for it. You just need to get used to diving under TC and feeling comfortable with diving under TC. Because it's very scary. Like, you're like, oh, what if I lose my units? But you gotta remember you have the heal, which is very, very strong. Let me show you a Mongol game. Oh, wrong one. Mongol game. So this is, this guy's actually a controller player. He's rank 1 in the world with controller. And yesterday, I think he was rank 80 in the world on leaderboard for both PC and console. And he has a controller. So, shout out to him. So, playing against Mongol. Now, Mongol is one of the hardest matchups together, like I said, with Japanese and OOTD. And the reason for that is if they tower rush you and the tower rush is successful, the game becomes very, very weird. And you get very much slowed down to the point where it's like super hard to recover. So why is that? The reason for that is if you get your gold blocked, you will not be able to age up. And if you're Mongol, you actually want to tower rush the Byzantine gold. Blocking the berries too is nice. But if you tower rush the gold, Byzantine cannot age up. And then even if they go for, you know, Keshiks or Longbows with the berries, they won't be able to ever break that. And Mongol will go trade and everything else. Now, this is where Byzantine becomes a civ that can defend tower rushes very easily because of Akritoi defense. This is incredibly strong, but it has a massive cooldown. I think it has like a 3-minute cooldown or something, or 2 minutes. So you need to make sure, here I'm scouting where the tower is, and now I see the villagers here. You need to use it very wisely. Don't randomly use it for one spearman. Look, I'm getting at archer range. This is how you defend a tower rush from any civ. Because a lot of civs might tower rush you after this video goes out, because tower rushing Byzantine gold is a very good way to deal with this. So, I make an archer range, and watch this. I'm going to pull 9 villagers. As I go in, boom, Akritoi defense. Now my villagers have 2 melee armor, and they have, I don't know what the damage is. 8 melee damage. Look at this. Look how they butcher the spearmen. Look at this. That's spearmen, by the way. Look at the tower. Boom, boom, boom. Look at this. Look how much damage they do. And he can't fight it. Look, I can just kill his spearmen with my villagers. And that's it. That's literally right there. Game's over. It's 150 seconds. Yeah, so very long cooldown. 2.5 minutes. Very, very long cooldown. Now the archer is out and the tower rush is stopped, which effectively pretty much ends the game. I'm going to speed up just so you guys can see, but right now I'm just going to continue my build order as normal. I'm going to go berries. I'm going to get my upgrades. I'm getting my mercenaries. Now this is a matchup where I can actually suggest you to also go longbows if you want, because I would say try both against Mongol, but going longbows against Mongol wouldn't be a mistake because Keshiks are not that great against longbows. So you can use longbows to defend yourself and then go mass Cataphracts and, you know, you just use longbows defensively kind of thing. But you can also go Keshik and harass their trade or whatever else. So I'm aging up right here where my berries are. Now I want to show you this. It's not here, it's a little bit later, where I kill Keshiks with Akritoi defense, which is kind of wild. So here, I'm aged up, I'm getting my veteran contract immediately, and I don't have stables yet because it's been kind of like a messy game. But I'm going to get it in a second, and then we just start producing Cataphracts. Now I'm going to go just harass, attack his trade line and so on. Oh fuck, I missed it. I killed 2 Keshiks with villagers with Akritoi defenses. So here we do a little harass, and again, watch this, just because of this landmark with the Pilgrim Flasks. Look how much Keshiks heal. Look at that. not only Keshiks are healing now their castle and they're getting a lot more heal per second when they attack, but also have 10 Pilgrim Flasks. Look at this. He comes here. Now when he stabs something, look at this. Gulp. And he just heals up. Look, gulp. Heals up to full. And I got 9 Flasks remaining now. I used 2 and 1 came back up. So I had 8 and then plus 1 back. Look, nothing's died yet. Nothing's died yet. Okay, Scout died, but he sucks. It's okay. Okay. This might die now. Yeah, there it is. And then I still clean everything up. Cataphracts are already in the base. And the game is pretty much over. Now you just spam Cataphracts like a lunatic, and you get the relics. And again, I tried to get some longer games for you guys. There was one game that was 1 hour, but that's maybe a little bit too long. But most of the games that I have played kind of ended like this. Now, there was another one that I'm going to show you, a variation of this, where I go Longbow, and I just wanted to try it against Order of the Dragon, and I'll explain why. What do we do, non-biz players do against this terror? Suffer. Yeah, what? Well, now you know how it feels when I do a guide for your civ and other people have to suffer. And now you gotta suffer. I can't wait for people to come out and say I ruined the game because I made the guide for this. It's actually... okay, so we're playing as OOTD on Himeyama. It's actually crazy how much, like, when I stop for a second and think about it, how much, like, influence... And I don't mean that as like an influencer, but I mean like how much actual influence the guides have. Because recently I released an AoE guide. And apparently people are now meeting it in like Gold League and Plat League 2TC AoE. And it's really cool that I can like change the meta of the game of what people are doing with a little guide. So if you're not a Byzantine player, good luck on the ladder. Because this is a very, very annoying thing to deal with. Very, very annoying. So, again, going for the age up, we're going to speed up. Now, the reason I wanted to try Longbows here is 2 different things. Number 1 is I thought maybe I can deny fishing with Longbows. And number 2, I was like, oh, I saw him make a tower here. So, I was like, if he's making a tower, I can go for Longbows and just shoot from here. So maybe he has to make 2 towers. But also... he will most likely go Spearmen and Crossbow, right? With OOTD. And if that's the case, Longbow counters both. So, yeah. So here we go. Longbows are coming out. And he's going to be going for Fast Castle once again. Now, the reason why I think OOTD is great against Biz in against this Cataphract build is because... very, very often, when your units gulp on 20%, 20% is not a lot of HP if you're fighting against OOTD Spearmen. And once your unit gulps to heal, the Spearman or the Crossbow will shoot and actually kill your unit anyway. So the healing will activate, but it will not actually heal up. You will just lose the unit immediately. Because the OOTD units have a lot higher damage, so they overkill quite often, but in this case, it's very useful because once your units use the heal, they kind of die right after. So he went Burger, and he went Spearman plus Crossbow, which again is like the best unit comp you can go against this. And I think if I went Keshiks, I would have very, very hard time dealing with this. But I went Longbows, and because I went Longbows, you can't really... we do some trading here, but these Longbows are already upgraded. I do a little bit of harass. Look at that idle time. Now, Cataphracts are arriving, and when we fight, I can just pick off Spearmen and pick off Crossbows. And then my Cataphracts can basically just dive under TC and kill everything else. I kill a villager there. I'm kiting. I lose a lot of Longbows. It is what it is. I'm getting the Relics. Now the harassment starts, and because now he has infantry-based army, it's obviously going to be a little bit harder for him to react to everything. I'm doing harassment, I'm running around, checking where he's at. My gold ran out, going in the back. I got bears in the back, which is very nice. And now the fight starts, and the longbows are just killing the spearmen. I charge through the spearmen to go in the back line over here. Spearmen died to the longbows. And the units are gulping, and you can see the crossbows are almost killing them, and it's only 2 crossbows. If he has like 5, they can just one-tap without the healing even going through. He loses the whole army, and again, just like the other games, once you break that first fight, once you break that first army, you can most likely just end the game. And when you start this build, it's going to be very scary to do dives like these between 2 towers and a TC. But the more experience you get, you'll realize how tanky the Cataphracts are, and you'll be just fine. So here I'm just going in, killing all the spearmen, killing the workers, and he taps out. So, just like that. I can show you this one. He went for the cock build, but I just want to show you how it looks if the opponent goes knights against Cataphracts. Because knights is probably the like if you're playing against this build, whatever you do, do not go knights, okay? It is not going to work. I have tried with every civ. Maybe OOTD knights could work, but in general, knights do pretty bad against this. You definitely want to be making spearman crossbow against this. And my advice, if you're playing against this, what you want to do is either go for fast castle or do some kind of feudal push. This build is a bit on the weaker side to feudal pushes, just like any castle rush. If you rush castle, even though you have Keshiks, if the opponent just makes a lot of units and pushes your gold, they can end up doing quite a bit of damage. Now here I actually didn't scout the cock, so I didn't know he was going for it. So what I did is I put a little bit of extra villagers on the wood, and I just walled in everywhere. And now, if you look at my base, so now I realized, oh, he's going cock because there's no knights. I have a little tower here. I have wall here, wall here, wall here. So my wood and gold are safe. And then my forward is getting defended by this tower. Now let's speed up. My cistern is delayed because I had to upgrade the tower. So I didn't have stone for it. And I still don't have stone to connect it. And right here, what I do, because I realize he's going cock, I just go across the map to harass his traders, because where is he going to harass me? I leave 5 here so I can garrison, and I leave the rest on the sheep. And now I'm adding a farm here and there just to have that extra food, because against night civs, you're realistically not going to be able to go out on the map for food anytime soon, so it's a pretty good idea to make some farms. Traders went down, I'm aging up. And I'm putting Cistern and first seal next to the wood line and gold here. Getting iron undermash because I'm going to be going very soon. He's trying to do some diving. I do a quick garrison. And now the Cataphract spam can begin. And you will see now what the kind of trading, what the trading is looking like with Keshiks and Cataphracts versus Feudal Knights. Obviously, I have an age-up difference, but yeah, it does not go too well for him. And even the Spearmen in Feudal don't do too well. If there's like 1 or 2 of them, you need a lot of them. He's trying to go for an age up, but I just do a little dive. And again, just like the other games, the healing from Keshiks under TC makes them have a very good sustain. And Cataphracts obviously have a shit ton of armor and a shit ton of HP. And the Flasks, they just keep golden. The knights are now upgraded to veteran knights, but it doesn't really matter. Gulp, 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 gulp. Byzantine, everybody. Yeah, and this is after the nerf, by the way. So if someone is watching this and is like, didn't they nerf this recently? This is after the nerf. Before the nerf, this was even more ridiculous. But yeah, this has been nerfed, and this is the situation post-nerf. So have that in mind. That's it. I mean, it's that easy, literally. Now, I would suggest if you know, you're trying this build for the first time, you gotta get used to it a little bit, but once you do, it is super easy. There's not a lot of microing, there's not a lot of macroing, you're just making units like a baboon and just sending them into your opponent's base. If you're playing against Byzantine, like I said, crossbow, spearmen, try to rush castle and defend them with that, or do like a tower rush in Dark Age, or feudal aggression. Whatever you do, do not, I warn you, if you're going on the ladder for the next 2-3 weeks, do not go to DC. 2 TC is an auto loss against this. You have no chance to kill this, okay? If you go to DC, you will get absolutely butchered. And that's it. So, haven't done a Byzantine guide in a while, and that's going to be one. That's going to be it. If you're watching this on YouTube, get out there and start cheesing people with the Jiglyturd inspired build, okay? Again, we gotta make a difference. Jiglyturd build is when you do this and lose. Beastie build is when you do the Jiglyturd build, but you win. YouTube gamers, thank you so much for watching. Check me out on Twitch. I'm literally, probably, most likely live right now. If you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going.